afternoon cup of coffee.
Hey, me too.
Oh, you got ice. Yeah, I don't have ice.
We will get into that.
I'm a Jewish American peasant. This is the new kind of Jap, my love. Yeah, I don't have my freezer's like the size of a tuna can, so it's not used for ice. I'm very European, right? They don't do the ice thing.
No, they don't.
Right.
All right, I'll do the intro and then bring you on. In 3, 2, and 1. Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Can Do It podcast. I'm your host, April Burke, and I am joined today by the beautiful Lauren Jamison, also known as Kosher Barbie. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How are you today?
Here.
It's great having you.
I'm happy. I need some time with my fellow comedian, and I'm ready for some chuckles. We got to laugh about all this dark shit going on in the world. Can we do that?
We can do that. Now, you refer to yourself as a Jap, a Jewish American peasant, which I absolutely love. What made you come up with Kosher Barbie?
You nailed it, girl.
Because you're hot and you're Jewish?
Oh, well, you said that. I didn't, but I'll take it. Jewish American peasant, yes, is coined off the acronym Jewish American princess, which I'm anything but.
Yes.
And yeah, although despite the outward appearance, don't let it fool you. So, I'm just a girl who's trying to, keep it clean, try and eat clean sometimes, not during the quarantine, that's for sure, and stay clean. So that's the kosher part. And the blonde, hey, we did just get it touched up, but that shit comes out of a bottle, love. Let's be honest. I don't know. How natural of a blonde are you?
Mine is actually dark blonde, so I lighten it. So mine comes out of a bottle too.
April, we call that dirty blonde. Come on.
I know, they do say dirty blonde, or I heard it dishwater blonde one. It just sounds disgusting. Dishwater blonde.
Yeah.
Like dirty dishwater. Like, ew. I do like the dirty blonde though, because yes, I am dirty.
Yeah, I've heard your comedy, sweetheart. That's what I mean. Like, I'm like, well, we need to kind of, maybe we don't need just outward say that word, but we can allude to it and people will still get the point. Like, your mother's watching, but she's already watched all the bad stuff. It's like, she's like, why are you cleaning up your act so much? It's so different. And I'm like, okay, you can go back to the old stuff. That's fine. I'm glad you like it, Mom.
That's right.
You're the one I could never please.
My parents finally came and saw me last year in October, because I mainly perform in New York City, but we live upstate New York, which is like 3 hours away. So that's just a lot of freaking travel for them. And I know you're made in Texas. I'm made in New York. But how'd you make your way out to California?
Well, the steers and queers were getting a little old, and all my exes back there. I'm like Cher from that movie Mermaids. Whenever I break up with someone, I just pack up the car and leave. I've kind of started recognizing that now that I've cleaned up my act a bit. I'm like, oh, well, that's been a pattern. Huh. Well, yeah, we've been in, I say we, I talk about myself. I think this was something I did when I was a kid, like a third person. Lauren's doing this today. LJ's going to be here. Taking a shower, that hasn't happened yet. So that's nice. I didn't even put a bra on for this, but California, my family moved us out here when I was 14 to San Diego. So I kind of got a little taste of the Wild West at a young age. Things were a little more conservative back in H-Town. And then I ended up back in Texas because I wanted to scram and get away from my family. They wanted me to stay in California, but the thing is I couldn't get into any California schools at the time. So I went to Dallas. I was there for a hot minute, LA, and then back down to SD. And you can imagine there were boyfriends all along the way that we had to get away from.
I'm sure. Oh, your parents didn't bribe USC to let you in?
Oh, dude, I don't think I could have gotten in. I don't know if that was like another SAT that I just failed to take, but I think I was tested out. I just like, okay, we're doing one and that's it. And then the first college that accepted me, I'm like, okay, we're through. Now we can just coast through the rest of senior year. That's taken care of. And whatever college said yes, sounds good.
That's what I did too. I got into SUNY New Paltz. I had applied to NYU, which they did let me in, but it was way too expensive. Like, it was crazy. It was like 30 grand just to live there. That was without tuition.
I mean, seriously, I don't know. Like, my parents are still waiting on that ROI any day now, but I went to a private school too. Like, I hope this whole idea of you have to send your kids to college or you have to go to college phases out sometime by the time I might have a child, because it's not financially feasible. I'll tell you, that's where all my drug and drinking started, was in college. And then I realized when I got out of college, I was like, oh, wait, I can't keep doing that. And then I woke up at 35 and I was like, oh, well, maybe that's not cute anymore. Am I not allowed to do that anymore? So yeah, I would say I blame college for that. That's all I learned, was how to drink any fraternity guy under the table. And I wore that like a badge of honor.
Me too. That's where I started my drug addiction, at SUNY New Paltz. It was a theater school, a very artsy school. And I remember when I left, my mother actually called the dean and said, the only thing my daughter learned at your school was drug addiction and lesbianism. Almost
sounds like that's a pretty wide array and cultured experience, if you ask me. That makes you very worldly, my dear.
It does. It does. Although I did have my first drink at age 5. My dad gave me and my brother a beer in like these little Tupperware cups that we used to fight over. We wanted the green one each, I remember. And he would give it to the dog too, because he drank back then. He doesn't anymore. And then when I was 15, I had a killer headache, and he was popping Lortabs like they were candy at that point. So he gave me one, and it took the headache away, but holy fuck, it felt amazing.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I used to say about Perkies. Percocets, you know, they don't make you so perky. They kind of knock your ass on the ground, but that's what I nicknamed him. Well, it's funny. It started out with a little blue pill that I used to call Smurfs called Adderall. You know, I had this very expensive doctor in La Jolla, because I always called it that. I didn't know it was La Jolla. I've worked on my Spanish.
Oh, I thought it was La Jolla. See, I'm wrong too.
I should say it La Jolla. Yeah, that's what I was saying about my situation going on downtown, because grooming's gone out the window, right, during the pandemic. We don't care about that anymore because no one's looking at it but me. And, well, whatever. But I can almost braid it into hollow, that's for sure. It's
I have OCD with shaving. I cannot stand any kind of stubble or anything. So I'm always in there shaving, and it like OCD shaving.
I got a new razor. I did. I signed up for something that popped up on my Instagram feed for the last time, and I said, okay, I'm going to cave. It's called a Billy razor, and it's like one of those every month they supply you with blades, and then all of a sudden you're like, I have 12 packs. I think I'm good. Like, let's give me free for a minute. But it's a great razor, and I was like, well, let's actually use it, Lauren. And I have kicked things up a notch, being that it's summer. But I did have a 3-year-old tell me the other day, because she happened to rub up against my leg. The only person that has in a very long time, April. And she said, God, that's real pokey. Like Rebel Wilson in Bridesmaids, when she rubs Kristen Wiig's leg, she's like, oh, that's prickly. That was exactly what had happened to me with a toddler.
My dad used to tell my mom she had Chewbacca legs. That's what he used to tell.
Oh, God. I love Chewbacca, though. That's kind of a compliment.
So when this apocalypse broke out, I went to the store and I couldn't find razors. So I joined the Dollar Shave Club, which is kind of like the Billy one, but it's just for men, I think, but I use it. And I stocked up on Amazon on my sensitive skin shaving cream.
Oh, yeah, girl. Level up. Men's razors are always better anyway. All those bullshit ones like Venus and whatever it was for women was not good enough. I need that extra blade. Why do women's razors only get 4? Why do men get 5? Like, we've got hair in places we don't want, more so than men, because men tell us we can't have hair there. And therefore we need better razors. So I've never understood that concept.
I actually started shaving mine because I think I saw, it was like Pam Anderson, I think, back in Playboy when mine started growing in. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? So I remember so gross. Don't tell my mom. Oh, she's going to see this. I used to use her razor and shave everything off, because I saw a friend of mine in the locker room one day and she had this huge fucking bush, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? So I've been shaving.
Coming at me.
I know. I've been shaving since, I don't know, maybe 13, maybe 14. Yeah, and it's
only to the knee. I remember my mom, I was like in 5th grade, because I came home and I was the one girl in 5th grade. I think that's when I started at least doing my legs. Between the legs, that was like at least 9th, 10th grade, I want to say, when that whole bit came in. That was probably early 2000s for me. But 5th grade, I'll never forget it. I was mortified. We were at school playing Foursquare. Did you ever play that game on the concrete?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like rocking my Stussy t-shirt, my Tevas, and like my plastic shorts. That was kind of like the cool outfit for 5th graders when you were 10. And we're hanging out on the court afterwards, and some boys are there with us, and they start looking at our legs, and they make a comment on mine, like, everyone else's were hair free, but mine were not. It was blonde fuzz, for Christ's sakes. But
Yeah.
I came home in tears. I'd never felt more disgusting. And I have a picture. I wish I had it next to me because I want to get it. I will show it to you soon, of me sitting in my mom's like 80s style jacuzzi tub with a look of terror on my face, shaving my legs, but only to the knee. Only to the knees where the shaving cream stopped. I'm like, Mom, why wouldn't you let me go? Because she's like, I don't even shave up that high. You know, nobody. I'm like, Mom, what? That's not true.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go all the way.
Yeah, I do very rarely because it really doesn't grow, and my hair is all blonde too, so like it doesn't really show on the upper legs. But I do attack it because I remember seeing it in the sunlight once, and I was like, oh shit! I look
Yeah, man, that shit has shadows, no matter what
Yes.
color it is. That pink fuzz. Seriously, I know. And as you get older, I'm like, why am I getting fairer? And these pores are getting larger, and like these roots are getting darker. What else? What else is gonna happen? I can't wait. I'm standing in suspense. Oh, but yeah, it does feel good to have gotten the roots done the other day. I'm happy with that. So it's kind of funny, you know, April, and I know you can relate to this, but normally what do you do when you get your hair done? Like, you want to take that mane out on the town. You're like, this is as good as it's going to look. And somebody needs to see this, right? But kind of hard to accomplish that right now, wouldn't you say?
Just a little. I have social anxiety, so I only get my hair cut like once a year, and I go to Supercuts because I know they won't talk to me. I'm like, there's like 20 dudes there and me.
Like, thank you for no communication. 5 stars on Yelp. You got it.
Because I don't know, they want to talk about your life, and like I just don't feel like talking about that in a freaking hairdresser chair where people can listen, you know.
They do. They want to know your whole life story. I honestly applaud them. I don't know how they do that shit, man. I don't want to talk. I don't want to like talk for because my hair takes like 3 hours. So I get it with my girlfriend because I actually like to catch up with her. I can't do it with other people. And before I would like do hair appointments when I'd be hungover. I'd like rather go to work than sit in a chair for 3 hours with a hairstylist getting foils put in my hair. That was the worst. Like, I don't even know. But I don't get hangovers anymore.
Me either, because
I
we're both sober.
Hi, April, we've conquered it.
We have. I just recently passed my 3-year sobriety because I found out I was pregnant and just stopped everything cold turkey. Thank you. I'm on psych meds too because I bipolar and PTSD, and I just stopped everything cold turkey. I didn't want my son to have anything pumping in his system that would fuck him up, and I just never looked back. But I do, and I'm sure like a lot of addicts feel this. You still get the cravings when you're stressed. If you're emotionally wrecked, you still think like, oh shit, maybe I should do that. It's hard learning new coping mechanisms. It really is.
Absolutely. It's a lot of years to undo when you've been doing it the other way, when that's all you ever knew or conditioned to do. Like I said, the seed was planted in college, plus the fact that I was warned at an early age by my mother, okay, just want to let you know that we have the gene and you need to be careful when you go away to school. Well, to somebody like me, I don't know about you, sis, but I'm like, ooh, I'm going to play with fire. That sounds like fun. She's telling me not to do something, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it good. I'm going to go full throttle. Like, it's not just going to be a tiny, like, dip a toe in the water. It was like, okay, we've had Adderall our senior year in high school. It's like, what's next? What else can we do that's naughty? And, obviously, like I said, it stopped being cute. At 35 last year, I was ready for a change. And I can tell you that if I was still doing what I was doing before, college up until that point, with all this shit going on in the world, I don't know where I'd be, April. It would be scary. But thank God for comedy because that saved my life. I don't know what it's done for yours, but just to get real for a second, like it is my language, it's my healing power, it's my superpower. Because I know a lot of people in the world need it right now. And And I just, it's my way of like, it's like my way of blacking out for a minute, you know, in a way. It is a high, obviously, but like all is right in the world when I'm doing my craft and working on my craft, whether it's I'm in a writing group or I'm making a stupid video or I'm doing a virtual show, or actually last week we got a little bit of a tease out in the live scene because I started to perform live for a minute.
Wow.
And now everything's shut back down. The comedy store here was really interesting. They opened last weekend after all this time, closed. And then, you know, things shut down in San Diego again for phase 2. If you don't serve food, is my understanding, you cannot be open. Well, unless Comedy Store wants to consider the stale popcorn machine food, which is a snack, they don't serve it. And God love them, they opened anyway, and I didn't go, but now they're shut back down again. So they opened for one weekend and one weekend only. And
wow.
everybody's crawling back into their holes. And, you know, it's great. Like you and I met on Zoom. So let's celebrate that.
I know. Zoom has been the greatest thing for me, let me tell you. Well, I had COVID-19, as you know, and I think I got it from when I was at Stand Up New York sharing the microphone with everybody, because I went down there with 2 other girls. They didn't perform and they didn't get sick. Huh. And I did. So, but I mean, it's weird how it skips people, but that's the only thing I can think of that I did different was hold that to my mouth.
It's a rabbit hole trying to go down that vortex of like, well, who was I around and who did
yes.
I 2020, the new year of did he get tested, and has so many more meanings. Like, but
yes.
The microphone might as well be a vibrator that we're all sharing, right?
Yeah. People spit into that because you spray when you talk. So, and you know, there are talkers that spit as they talk, and
it's got little crevices. I don't know if you've ever gone down a deep dive of looking at photos of microphones on Google, but it might as well be like a Dexter lab experiment. It's so gross. It makes you never want to touch one again. You're like, I think maybe I'm going to get my own private mic and just bring it and be like a diva. It shows like, oh, can we switch this out? Can we just use, this one's monogram. This one's mine. No one else can touch it.
Yes. Somebody posted in the Albany, New York comedians, I think it was the group, that they had these little covers you can carry with you for the microphone to put them on.
Little mic condoms.
Yeah, little mic condoms.
Are they rubbers?
I wonder what they are made of. Probably like
Oh yeah, I know. I always say Mike is my boyfriend, so I got to find out what kind of rubbers he likes. You know, which one is the best feeling for him. Honestly, the thing that closest resembles a male package is Mike. That's the only thing that's been in my hand, because I have held true as I approach my year of sobriety. Next Thursday, I'm less than a week out for the big one. You know how they encourage you, I'm sure you've heard it in the program or wherever your resources that you've used. We advise you not to date in your first year of sobriety. Have you heard that?
Yes. And I did, and it was horrible because my son's father was also an addict, and that's how we met. The first night we met, we were doing cocaine in the bar bathroom. And when we went to quit, it was like we didn't know who each other really were. And when you first quit, all those emotions and everything was flooding in, and you really don't know what to do, and you act out and lash out. So it was just constant, me and him going back and forth. I totally agree with the don't date for a year with your sobriety.
As much as I used to mock it and tease it, somehow I just woke up and I've honored it, and I do quite a few bits about it, because when I was first told that, I'm like, okay, I need specifics. When you say no dating or no dick, like I can't go grab a cup of coffee with someone from the opposite sex, or I can't have a one night stand with him. Like I need specifics. Let's elaborate on this. So it ended up just being all of the above. I really took this year to I had to transition fully from, straddling the line of trying to be a comedian and a real estate agent at the same time. That was not working. As many personalities as I have, I treated real estate like an acting gig, but the comedy lights are on too much. I'd always piss the client off, or I wasn't mirroring them properly, and they found me overly familiar or something like that, depending on what nationality I was working with. And I was like, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. Round peg, whatever, square hole, that whole jazz, and it doesn't fit. So it felt really nice to finally just eliminate that and then just do what I'm meant to do. And that's to entertain, baby. So, and then talk about all my pain in the process.
That's right. It's been a long road for us, but we are here.
Yes. And yeah, I'm just so grateful that I met you through Dat's show. What a cool experience that's been, and a nice little thing to have a part of every week of mine. And just networking with comedians as we would do in a club, right?
Yes.
Online, because we find each other, we catch each other's sets, we support each other, and we find each other on all the platforms, and then we get to do cool stuff like this. So,
I know, it's so cool. Like, all my new comedian friends are on the West Coast.
I love it. Well, we're ready to receive you when you're ready to come.
Yay!
So we'll hit the town in 2021 if it's going to take that long, and we'll do the mic scene. You'll have to come and do a set at my show at the VFW at the American last week. But since we've already been here before, it was like, okay, well, no big deal. We can't perform live. Not the first time we've heard this. So we'll just reel it in and we'll go back on Zoom, and we still raise some good money. And, you know, it's always a miracle when I can pay the comedian. So that was sexy.
Yes. I produced my first show in October, and it was great to pay and I paid them well because a lot of money came in the door. It was sold out, 120 something people. And I was able to even donate part to charity, to domestic violence.
Girl!
I know, it was fantastic. It was the best feeling in the world. And I kind of want to contact the person again that owns the bar, Chieftains. I'll give them a plug in Cobuskill, because they were talking to me about a second show before all this craziness popped out.
Oh, I'm sure. And they're going to be so ready for stuff like that. And if you're bringing that kind of traffic in the door, there's no way they can say no to a driven woman like you, who's just like, you're an incredible talent. I love your comedy, and you're very much, you and I are very similar in the fact that we are very open about our using and boozing past. And
we are,
you know what, at the end of the day, I just hope it, even if it just hits one person that might come up to me after a show and talk about sobriety, or maybe it's about real estate. I don't know. One time, like, even I was making fun of real estate so much in my set, but this guy came up to me and asked if I was still selling properties. This was like in my first year of comedy at the Comedy Palace in San Diego. And I got a listing appointment out of it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. What out of all of that makes you think that I'm a qualified realtor to sell your $2 million home? But all right, we'll fake it till we make it.
That is great. Boy. He's probably like, this chick is funny. This chick is hot. Let me get alone in a house with her.
Oh, and that was a whole nother experience. You can imagine what this listing appointment was. It was two brothers. And, you know, I can't remember the last time I've had anybody write a phone number, any sort of information down on a cocktail napkin. I don't know if this guy just didn't have a cell phone with him, but he wrote down his name, his number, and his address on a cocktail napkin at the club. And I felt like, wow, this really might become something. This might materialize, because this feels so old school. Like, you know, let's just shake on it. Like, we're not even going to need any contracts, and I'll just list that puppy. And I ended up going there, and wouldn't you know it, all the demons came out. It was just this whole drug party. Like, the realtor's coming over, but hey, guess what? She talked about cocaine on the stage. So it's Friday evening at 6. I had my lender with me also, just to kind of like close the deal as a partnered situation. And they were already like teeing off into their weekend, and they were offering me every drug under the sun when I walked in the door. And I'm going to pretend right now on this call that I didn't say no. Yeah, I didn't end up getting the listing, but it was fun.
I'm sure it was. It was. I mean, you think you're having fun. When you're in it, you think you're having fun, and then you realize, wait a minute, no. Like, I did a lot of fucked up shit. Like, I lied to people, which, you know, I never stole or anything like that. I never did that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, I want to mention my cousin Joseph. He was in his early 20s. He died from a fentanyl-laced heroin a few years ago, right around Christmas. It was pretty horrible. And I just want to, like, make people aware that this is a serious problem in America. And I've noticed that it's been increasing during quarantine, because you know what? People have nothing to do. They're depressed. They're looking for an outlet, and unfortunately they're turning to that.
They want to be out of themselves and not sit with this discomfort. I get it. I mean, everywhere I turn, for me, there's an uncertainty. Just today, because I'm a tell-all kind of girl, and I have to release this because I'm spinning in the head. I got a phone call about a friend whose baby. I thought babies weren't getting this. He's 8 months old. He has COVID, and guess who was holding him all week last week?
Oh
So
no.
I got to get tested this weekend. I know nobody is invincible. I do take great care of myself, and a lot of that I have to credit to sobriety, because that was how I used to deplete my immune system in 2 seconds, was one bender weekend, and then I get sick. So I've been in the last year super mindful of my health. I'm very fanatical about it. But I will say that the American public, I'm not really monitoring other countries. I know we're not doing as good as some, but
Right.
that we've gotten really lax, and I'm just as guilty of it. I mean, I have not quarantined at all because I had to go out and work. I lost my job in a restaurant. Obviously, comedy went out the door. That was a means of income. And unemployment can suck a dick. So I didn't see anything until it took me like 2.5 months to finally get any cheddar from them. I was just on the line with them again today after getting that news, and I think I got things sorted out, but things have been really fickle for me there. So I've been out doing every delivery job you can imagine under the sun, from DoorDash to groceries, babysitting even if I have to, but I'm back to that one-off random gig thing, just trying to make ends meet. And but I've been responsible, washing my hands, always wearing a mask. I mean, it's mandated here, unlike Texas. I'm so ashamed of
Yeah.
the state. Like, no wonder. I mean, but we're right up there with California, and we've been forced to wear masks the whole time. So it's like, what's the reason? I can't reckon it. But I did get that call this morning, and I will be responsible. But it's like kind of going like, it's like STDs. Now you got to like track back your week and who was I around and all this stuff. I live alone, but yeah, I'm going to trust my higher power. He's got me. I'm helping too many people in this world right now. Like, I am a humble warrior on the battlefield. He needs me out there. So I'm feeling good about it. I'll go take the damn test, and that's the worst part, right? And then just sit back.
Oh, it is. Oh my God. It burns. It burns. It burns. When I
Well, it
went,
can't be worse, April, than the shit I used to put on my nose. So this will be a cakewalk.
that's why I think it burns so bad for me, because when they went up my right nostril, that was always my favorite nostril. When they went up there, it felt like a fire poker up my nose. It was not pleasant. It felt like I was like snorting like glass or something. Not pleasant. Just to give you a heads up, not to scare you, but
No, it's okay, babe. I'm gonna steal. And yeah, I don't think I had a favorite nostril. I just knew that, well, we got to get one and the other one, just because this one doesn't want to get jealous. So let's make it even Steven. Yeah, and then that would be like, okay, I could have just done the one. Okay.
Yes.
And then fast forward to 6 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, where are we? No, that's the thing. People always talk about blacking out. I never blacked out, really, because I was always up.
Yeah.
I remember everything.
I never blacked out or did anything crazy on cocaine, but I got chronic pancreatitis, and I think it was from all the drugs that I did. And then they put me on morphine, which really fucked me up. I was on that for maybe 5 years altogether, and I just laid in bed all day. My poor husband, my marriage failed because of it, because I would take the morphine and I would sleep till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when he would come home from work, and I was just waking up. Like, I didn't cook, I didn't clean, I didn't do shit. Like, I was horrible. I was just a horrible person to be around. And it was just, and I wound up in the psych ward a lot of times because I was self-medicating with drugs for my bipolar disorder. Because when I was up, I wanted to be down. When I was down,
Right.
I wanted to be up. And it was just
You
too
never
much.
get that perfect guy, that perfect balance. It was constantly a chase. And even if you did, it was for 5 minutes. And then we go back through the cycle all over again. Okay, wait, I'm 2 up, I'm 2 down, and and it's like, okay, when are we gonna wake up from this? Well, I had to say, because today was like a day of half-assed attempts. Like, I was gonna paint my nails for you. I don't know, I was on a lot of hold times today. I was like, what can we do while we're on hold? Watch some Netflix, paint our nails. So I see that I took the nail polish off of this hand, but I didn't make it to the other. I started.
Hey,
I put on clothes like I was going to work out today. That never happened because I didn't even get to the sports bra. But I must show off my, these shorts that I got. They're super cute. They have built-in undies.
Oh, that's cool.
And I splurged a little on these because they're the best of the best. I'm not even going to say the brand because this is what cracks me up about it. I'm looking at why these shorts must be so expensive. They were $72. I did have a discount code for my first purchase, so they ended up being around $58. Still ridiculous for a pair of shorts. And there's a funky little pocket here called a zip stash pocket. It's supposed to be functional. But I'm like, what do you stick in this pocket? It's called a zip stash pocket. I'm like, oh, was for your bag of blow, because that's all that can fit in there. You can't put, I tried to put a chapstick in there. I couldn't even fit it. Because then my friend yesterday, when I wore them, she's like, well, you could fit a house key in there. And I said, exactly. That's what they're thinking, a house key and a bag of blow. So you're going to bump and jog. Bump and jog.
Oh my God. Speaking of bumping and jogging, I used to be a runner, and I used to do cocaine and go running. Like, I don't know how the fuck I didn't have a heart attack, because my heart would just be pumping and pumping and pumping. But I'd never overdosed on that kind of stuff, but I did overdose on the morphine, like maybe more than 10 times. Like, that's just some bad shit.
More than 9 lives, kitty cat.
I know.
Remarkable. We need you here. Comedy world needs you. And I know you have a beautiful little boy now, and I love the jokes you talk about with him. It's so great. It's just, I know, I want to be a mama too one day. I can't know if that's going to happen. I can only keep the faith, but I got to say, for right now, I applaud you, Mama Bear, because I don't know what I'd do if I had kids right now with all this going on, you know, with my work stuff and just everything in life. So to all the moms out there, specifically the single ones, y'all are at the top. You're the top of the totem pole in my eyes. So
thank you. Yes.
You're the best.
Applaud for all the single moms, single dads too. I mean, it's tough because you don't have anybody to lean on. My apartment is small, so if I get frustrated, I try to go in the bathroom, but he's banging on the door and wanting to get in, so it's like there's no escape. Luckily, my friend Cheryl lives like 2 doors down, so she takes him like when I'm overwhelmed and things like that. Yeah,
Cheryl.
Yes,
I love you, Cheryl.
We love you, Cheryl. Actually, he's with her right now. He's with her right now as I'm recording.
That's great. Does she have any kids? Any neighbors on the street have any kids? I know it's not like the right time for
She has 4 children, but they're in their 20s and 30s. There's a little girl.
Oh, more babysitters.
I know, right? There's a little girl that lives in the next building that David is in love with, and she's super cute. She's about a year old, a little more than a year old, and it's really cute seeing him interact with other children because he's very considerate and he likes to share, although he was a whack job the other day, not wanting to share, but usually he shares, and he brings his drinks over to the little girl and gives her drinks when she's outside. It's so cute. Yeah, it is. So like I raised I don't know how the hell I did it, but I raised a very kind and considerate and compassionate and funny. He's funny too. Like he will make you laugh your ass off. I think he's gonna probably supersede me someday in the comedy business.
That'd be great. Well, he has a master guide living under the same roof. So yeah, I love kids. I do. But look, now I might have COVID as a result of holding one. So we won't be picking up a baby for a while. I'm kidding. I can't resist, but it's, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but I have to talk it out because it's so nuts. I mean, today I got news about another alcohol related death, because it happens and then somebody's got to put it on Facebook the second they find out. And it's a sick disease, April. It's something that I found out through my therapist is called selective grief, where someone wants to get the attention themselves. Like they'll post things about a celebrity that passed away and they'll just do it to field the comments into them. And I get when you're trying to pay your respects, but when maybe a lot of people haven't even wrap their brain around the idea that this has even happened, and then some stranger who finds out about it or somebody who claims they were friends with this person posts it on the internet, and then that's when everything flocks. What happened? Oh my God. And you have a family that's in mourning. This happened with one of my friends last year who overdosed on fentanyl. Was one of the, you could call it my bottom. I lost a lot of people I loved last year, back to back, like 3 months in a row, not all drug-related deaths. But the last one was from a friend that I went to high school and college with. And it was a shock because I hadn't yet processed the 2 that preceded him. And interestingly enough, all 3 of these people were 35, my same age.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a wake-up call for me. And so I know when you're talking about your cousin last year, I also lost my cousin last year from cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
But it was a lot. It was like a friend from my present life in a car accident. And she was so supportive of my comedy career. And I think about her every time I go on stage, or every time I just tell jokes. It's for her. I know she's looking down on me. As much as she wanted me to be a successful real estate agent like she was always at my shows, and she was like, I believe in your dream. Do your dream, girl. Like, you're gonna make it. So single mother, just go-getter, just crusher in life. And I love her so much and miss her every day. And then my cousin happened, and then John after that. And I was like, there's that rule of 3 for me. And I'd always thought about sobriety. And after that, I was like, no, this fentanyl shit's getting way too weird. Like, it's time to draw the line. It's not do anymore.
It is. And now they're lacing everything with it. They're lacing marijuana with it. They're lacing everything with it. They're lacing Xanax pills with it and releasing it. Like, just,
Great.
you just can't do it anymore. Like, I mean, you shouldn't have done it in the past either, but now it's like so super, super duper dangerous. And a lot of movies and TV shows kind of glorify it like it's this great, wonderful thing. And it's really, really not. Like, and my poor parents were in denial. My dad used to always tell me, you're not a drug addict. I always felt like I didn't do enough drugs to like make him approve of my drug addiction in some kind of sick way. And so I would do more and more and more and more and more like, oh, well, he says it's okay. I'm not. So I can just continue, which is totally ridiculous.
Wow. That is complex. Yeah. Or you confess and you say that you do have a problem. And then you just have people that don't want to acknowledge it, and they look the other way. They turn the cheek like, nah, you don't. It's a tricky situation, but I know that it was like my bottom to make a change in my life, that I needed to go for my dream and really do it, cut all the bullshit, cut people out of my life that weren't serving me, make the changes, because their lives were cut so short. And in fact of the matter, like, I was playing with fire all the time. It was dangerous, and it's serious, and it's still happening all around me, which sadly, I mean, it's what's keeping me sober, is now that I'm fully awake and present and have the clarity to really wrap my brain around after a year of abstaining from it, and seeing how much my life has changed. Oh my God. Like,
yes, it gets so much better. Like, I always thought I couldn't go a day without drugs. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And now it's like, holy shit, I'm doing everything. Like, I'm on Dat Fan and Friends.
You're super mom.
Podcast.
Super mom.
It's freaking amazing.
I know. But it's like, I feel like really crunchy right now, which I heard this is normal, because I called my sponsor the other day and I'm like, I feel like I'm a newcomer all over again. Like, I'm doing everything wrong. And she said, this is totally normal, like, weeks out from your birthday. Everybody gets a little peckish around their birthday time. Is that like that for you whenever you celebrate another year?
It is. It is. It's like, oh, wow. Like, I just think back of everything, and you do think of the good times, but then I now focus on the bad. Like, it's bad. It's bad. And I also want to tell people that you really do have to change the people you hang out with, because if you stick with those drug friends, you're just going to do it. Because I know if I had my drug friends here and they busted it out on the table, it would be so almost impossible not to do it. I mean, I have my son, so I wouldn't do it, but just to let people know, like, you're just setting yourself up for a bad experience if you still hang out with those kind of people.
Well, it's that whole hippy dippy phrase of when you cut things out of your life to make room, for better, create space for more. And it's so true. I've lived that experience. I have made a whole new world of friends. The comedy community in San Diego is very respectful and supportive of my sobriety, because most people that are an outsider, of the program or outside of comedy, are like, wow, how are you a comedian and you don't drink? And I'm like, how was I a real estate agent, or how was I a recruiter, or how did I work as a bartender? Like, it doesn't matter the environment. It's who you are in here. Yes. And you could be anywhere. But yeah, I'm not out looking for, a green room full of 8 balls in the back. Like, if anybody that's a patron at a show, because I usually make a few cracks about sobriety, so I try to be open about it, because I don't want anyone offering me drinks at the end of the show. I'm like, just put the money that you were going to donate to my cocktails in this tip jar here, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is where we get tips, right here in this jar. Just the tip.
That is hard. Yeah, I had somebody buy me a shot of tequila once, and even when I did drink, I didn't want tequila. I just said, oh, is it okay if I give it to my friend? I don't drink. And they were fine with that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
donate it over. There's always somebody else that will take it, a free shot.
Exactly. And I find in the entertainment business, there are a lot of active addicts, and then there's a lot of former addicts. And, you know, like poor Charlie Sheen, I don't know how he's doing nowadays, but he's had it rough, really rough. And Robert Downey Jr. is a great example of somebody that turned himself around. He used to say, you know, when I do drugs and alcohol, I break out in handcuffs. Like I'm allergic, I break out in handcuffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he never did comedy, did he? I love Robert Downey. Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What a turnaround he's had. Between you and me, even though I know that other people are going to be watching, he signed my friend's court card once, so that was something up north. I'm still working on the anonymity thing. I just learned how to say that word properly, for Christ's sake, and I'm a word.
Yeah, I'm not
cunning
even
linguist, April.
I'm not even going to attempt to say that word.
It's like Nemo. It's like, you know, when he trips on an anemone. It's an anemone. I'm like, anemone. I don't know. Fuck, I don't like that word. But yeah, I'm like, okay, now we've been able to figure out how to say it. Now, Lauren, we need to make sure that we practice that.
Yes.
And actually, mine was broken recently. I guess it was right before COVID. And it's interesting enough, it was through a friend in the program. And I'm not one to like to be set up. You know, my dating life is struggling, but it's not fully non-existent. I wouldn't say like I'm not engaging with the opposite sex, you know, flirting obviously through plate glass, like we are only through like a textual world right now. Everything's virtual. Right. I'm not going out on dates. As I said, there's still less than a week countdown, but yeah, I was somebody tried to set me up. Like I was probably at my 4th or 5th month mark. And so initially that was my response. I'm like, no, dude, I'm honoring the year. This isn't a good idea. Somehow the guy got my number anyway. And the person that tried to set me up had already told them that I was in AA. And I'm like, wait a second, you're 10 years sober. Isn't that like the cardinal rule? Because this guy had wrote me a text. So I got your number from so-and-so. Hope that's okay. I was like, well, I said no, but here we are. Yeah. He's like, I guess you know each other from AA class. What's your indicator there, April? He called it what?
AA class?
Class. It's not a school, dude. Like, you're not in the program, are you? Was my first guess. And
apparently not. Yeah.
Naturally, I screenshot that text and I fired it over. I'm like, this guy reached out. Thank you. And I don't think he's not in the program, is he? And he said no. And I said, well, he kind of told him I would like to share that news myself if the time presented itself. You know, he said, you know what? I think it was my wife that did it because she's a normie and she forgets the rules sometimes. I'm like, after 10 years? Come on.
Yeah, right?
So yeah, that was my first outing experience. But yeah, it is a very important rule and I need to get better at it sometimes. I didn't mean to say that about Robert Downey.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm actually dating. I've been on and off dating somebody for a year now, and he is a recovering alcoholic. And he hasn't had a relapse in a while, but when he does relapse, it's completely sets me off. Like, well, if he can do it, like, why can't I? And that kind of thinking. And, you know, then I look at my son, I'm like, okay, I know why I can't, but it still brings up all those emotions and all those feelings when you see somebody struggling with it.
Oh God, yeah. I'm dealing with, you know, I'm looking probably to be a sponsor soon. That's the next step, right? I just finished my steps yesterday with my sponsor and that was a great feeling. But I know it's so crazy. And it's funny because I'm already doing so many of these things already. And I was like, oh, I've already been doing that stuff, just organic, you know, evolution of this process. And, yeah, I don't know. I guess sponsee is like the next thing, but I know a lot of people that one person is in and the other one is out, and that I haven't experienced that, but I have friends that are trying to get clean and they're struggling. And it's like, and also I see people like getting sober for the first time through Zoom. Like they've never even been to a meeting before in real life, and they are doing it through these virtual rooms, and it is like so impressive.
That's awesome, because I never went to any meetings because I would drive there and then my social anxiety would kick in and I'd be like, no, fuck it, I'm not going in there. Like I'm not going in there. Yeah, I never went to anyone. I went to a voluntary outpatient rehab, yet everybody else in it was there involuntarily. So it was a joke. Yes. They're all sitting there telling drug stories and, hey, if you want this after the meeting, come get me. Like, I'll give it to you. I went twice and I said, you know what? This is making me crave it and want it even more. So I just stopped. And then I continued for years and years and years of my addiction. And the only thing that did sober me up was my son. I would be dead in a hotel room somewhere because I used to do comedy shows, New York City, Long Island. I'd go back to my hotel room. The high from the show wears off. And then I was left with all those raw emotions. So I would pop pills and just pass out.
Girl, I know those exact feelings. Like, whether I bombed, I was celebrating in my first year of comedy. Whether I had a great show, I was celebrating. And I mean, even the bartender at the Comedy Store would know, like, open mic night, I get there and he's got my bourbon, my bullet waiting at, it was too cliche for me to drink Jamison. Come on. I've upgraded my life anyway, but he would have it at the window waiting for me. And I just like couldn't wait to get that sipper, that shot, you know, the second I got off stage, regardless of what the outcome was, great set or not. And then we just see where the night would go after that. And it wasn't usually good. And that was when I was still an active real estate agent. And so it'd be like, oh, fuck, I got an open house tomorrow. I got to go sit at somebody else's house on a Sunday. And they don't have air conditioning because this is the beach, you know, because like, you know, I'm sorry, California gets hot too. You need to get AC. I would be miserable and sitting there and it's like, okay. And that's when I finally realized as more time accrued that I'm not meant for this business. This is not me fulfilling my purpose. I'm doing disservice not only to myself, but the client, the people that are walking in this door, because there are people out there that actually love being a real estate agent. I'm just not one of them. So let's go live. Yeah, there are people that are. So it's not fair to them for people like me to be in the business screwing it up. Let me go do what I do best.
I worked with the developmentally disabled patients for 16 years, and some of them have dual diagnoses where they have psychiatric conditions too. So I used to get my ass beat. I had sprained wrists. I had concussions, and I would go home and just get fucked up. Like, I never showed up to work fucked up because I had to pass medications. I had to deal with people's lives. I wasn't going to fuck with that. And I had to drive them places. So I definitely didn't do anything when I was at work. But when I got home, it was on. It was definitely on. And then I used to be obsessed with that show on A&E, Intervention.
Yes, you said that before.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yeah, maybe
I love that show too, man.
Yeah, it's a great show, and I always used to cry like a baby at the end because none of my family had an intervention for me. I'm like, was I not good enough for one?
I didn't get one either. But in a way, it's kind of like, well, this was my path, this was my story. So you and I are the same in that we figured it out on our own.
Yes,
and we listened to that not so little voice that propelled us. Because we're needed here on this planet, you know. I wouldn't say I'm doing the Lord's work every day, but that's why I'm not worried. Like for myself, I can't live in fear. I've had my moments about this pandemic or this shamdemic, and I just I can't go there, or else it could take me. I already am dark enough as it is, but that's where comedy brings the light, and I just can't believe this journey. It's been a hell of a one, and I'm going to keep going. I don't know where the hell it's going, but if I know it's going somewhere good, that I do know. So
definitely, you definitely have a bright future ahead of you because you're super talented. You're super funny. And hey, you got the look, like you got it all. So
I don't know, that sometimes, thank you for saying that, but we'll see. I mean, my comedy coach, because I just got one of those through quarantine. I actually met him. His name's Igor Levesky. He's a Russian gay Jewish guy. He runs an eco-friendly resort in Baja. It's called Baja Off the Grid. And he was going to host our new female comedy group called the Misfit Toys that we launched during the quarantine. We've been getting together every Monday for a writing group, roundtable, learning, just taking comedy to like a collegiate level. And I've done some workshops in the past. That's how I got started. Because that's usually what you do. Like, okay, yeah, I could just go up there cold turkey, drunk, and see if I could Ron White this out of my ass, or I could take the proper steps and learn from somebody who's been doing this. So let's take a class. And so now it's like, well, we've got all this time, and I know specifically a lot of women in the world are dealing with a lot of shit, and it's just a way for us to bind together in unity and start something. So I think you need to meet Iggy soon, because we are trying to recruit Misfit Toys all over the country. So when we do get to go on the road and open up in a live setting responsibly again, you know, we'll be able to activate things like a phone tree. Okay, we got a gig in Chicago. Who's a misfit toy in Chicago? You know,
Right.
what girls from the base in Southern California can get on the bus and go, or fly there and go. But we want to be more of an ensemble act and do things like universities, high schools, and take a message from just joke telling comedy to transformative comedy, like especially to women who maybe feel such fear about going for a dream, or they've had a situation in their life where they've dealt with somebody who's done something sad, like aggressive assault, whatever, you know, because a lot of us girls have been victims of that too. And now we crack jokes about it because that's the way we heal.
Yes.
So we hope to take comedy that way to the next level, especially with today's current climate, which just doesn't seem to stop. And I don't know when it ever will, but at least we can do our part and try to contribute in that effect. You know what I'm saying?
That is awesome. That is a super great project to work on. That sounds
It's
really
good.
Yeah. Don't forget me.
Oh my God, not at all. So yeah, well, Iggy will have to meet you. I'm gonna connect you guys because I don't think we have anybody in New York yet. We have a girl, one gal from Chicago, one gal from Vegas. There's me and my friend Sarah. She and I are very close friends. She's on DATS mics a lot too.
Sarah Hirschberger?
Sarah Hirschberger, my little Hershey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like her. Yes.
We have a trans woman who is up in Sacramento right now. She's a toy. And then we've got Maria Delegato, who's in LA. Everybody's just super different as far as their look, their comedy style, their message. And, you know, it comes together. We launched and did our debut show back last month. It was so cool to see it all come together after like 6 weeks of working on it and building the brand and defining our comedy characters more, because, you know, before I that's where Kosher Barbie came from. Kosher Barbie came out of the quarantine because it's like a new moniker I'm working with and trying her on, and she seems to be sticking. We'll see where it goes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like your brand. I don't know what mine would be, like Tits McGee or something. I don't know.
What was the joke you did the other day about tit sweat? Oh my God, it was funny.
Oh, humidititties.
Humidititties!
And then condensation, but condensation sounds just so disgusting. I'm like, I apologize the second I said it. I'm like, I know
oh my God, why? I mean, but whatever, you said it. You meant to. You just trying it on, you know, but the humidititties was hilarious. Like, I can see that shit on t-shirts, girl. Like, right on the tits. Who's got them? Who's got them, man?
I know.
I got this running in my house right now, but I got to say, like, 1 cup of coffee and I get super sweaty, and I just have a lot of hair up top.
Yeah, and I sweat like crazy when I'm recording this, when I'm on comedy shows. Like, I don't know how, like, Cat Williams wears a whole freaking suit. I mean, but you do see him sweating and sweating and sweating, and Robin Williams sweated like crazy too. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that could be the cocaine too.
The hero to the top, man.
Yeah, he was bipolar too. He was bipolar too, and I know he was stuck in a manic phase a lot of the times, because when you are manic, you feel on top of the world. You're very energetic. You don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't drink. It's crazy. And then I never saw the depressed side of him, so he must have just kept that really under wraps. It was quite a surprise when I heard that he had committed suicide. I cried. Because I felt like another person with bipolar disorder lost the fight, and drug addiction lost the fight, and it was just sad. And I love Robin Williams. He was great.
I relate so hard to anyone that has lost their life as a result of an overdose. I mean, because it's so relatable for people like us, and we just get it, and we just know that we have to do whatever it takes to survive and keep going through this thing called the human experience, and keep sharing our gifts, especially at times like now.
Yes.
And help as many people as we can, and just keep paying it forward through comedy, through picking up the phone, you know, like answer your phone these days, people, because we know you're sitting right next to it. Call your mom, even if you hate her, fucking call her, just tell her you love her. And you know, your dad too, why not? Checking on people every day, because putting it out there, whether it's through a podcast like what you're doing, is just to reach people in some way or another through all the platforms that we're given that are typically free, to make sure, you know, just to check people's wellness check. Like, how you doing, man? shit's tough out there. Like, don't be ashamed to reach out and say, I'm hurting. I need help. I need some SOS. I need some TLC.
Yeah.
Like, just ask somebody about their day, you know? And I got to say that fucking works when you're in your own head all the time.
It
You
does.
call somebody else and ask them about what's going on with you. It's like magic. And then you get off the phone and you're like, what was I pissed about earlier?
Yep.
Wow, that's weird, because I wasn't being selfish for a second. So yeah, that's what this last year of my life has really taught me a lot too, is to help others. And even if it's bringing them their food because they're a stay-at-home mom and they can't get to the grocery store. So that was like where I kind of reconciled me not quarantining, other than the fact that I need to make a buck or two. But wow, at the beginning in March and April, I was really a superhero. But now people are kind of like, well, this is just the new normal now. Like, we'll tip her next time. Before it was like, it's $100. You're amazing. You should be wearing a cape. Like, you're really risking your life. And now I'm like, can I get the gate code to get into your complex, please? Like, I've got all your shit. Do you want it? Asshole.
Right? They should tip well. Jeez.
Oh, I'm lucky if I get like access to the building. April. Okay, I gotta ask you this question. Do you have any distant family in Texas? Because I come from a long family, a huge family of Burks.
No, actually, Burke is my married name. I was married for 9 years. Beyer is my maiden name, Beyer, and I kept Burke because everybody pronounces it Bayer. They just always get it wrong. So I'm like, Burke is easy. You can't really fuck that one up. So.
No, I love the name Burke. I have an uncle Burke, but my grandmother's maiden name is Burke, Beverly Burke, and she's one of 8 kids. And we're huge family in Houston. My great uncle Jackie just turned 96. We're big in the golf world. I can't play for shit, but that's why maybe I was adopted. Everyone's a golfer in my family. My great uncle won the Masters in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
And he's still with us. He's like the oldest of the 8 kids, and he's the only one left, and he was the oldest.
Wow.
But Jackie Burke. And so yeah, it's a crazy thing coming from a big family in Houston and me being out here in San Diego all by my lonesome. But I guess, this is just the plan for me. This is where I'm supposed to be, because if not, I'd be hauled up in a house with my parents right now. And I don't know how well that would turn out.
Yeah. I'm currently arguing with my parents because they won't let me do the Zoom recordings. Like, they won't let me download them on my phone anymore. They did for my first episode, and then they took it away. So I went to use my parents' computer, and my dad was freaking out that I was going to download some kind of virus on his computer. And he had to say it like 50 or 60 times. And I finally just lost my shit. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to fucking do this. I'm leaving. Like, I got so angry, so fucking angry. And I shook like all freaking day. And I actually interviewed Brendan Prenowitz that night.
Did you?
Yes.
You.
He is great. He is a great guy. And he kind of, talking to him made me feel a lot better. And now I just look at it like, all right, it's just another fight with my parents. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I should just move on.
So triggering.
It is very triggering. And I think for my own sanity, I just have to take a break from them right now, because they've never really been supportive. Like, everything that me and my brother do, it's always met with negativity. And I don't think they're trying to be mean. I just think they're trying to like show you, like, devil's advocate, like the other side of things, but it just comes off as mean.
Well, negativity and the know-it-all attitude, like it's just being a parent, right? I'm not one yet. So I try to just, what's that favorite A word that we love, not alcohol, but acceptance.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And I realized because I didn't get one. They don't give you handbooks to be a parent. So
no, they don't, dude. They don't give you a handbook for life. They don't teach you shit in college, as far as I'm concerned, except how to drink alcohol and do that good. Like, I didn't know how to manage my money. I didn't even know about the job that I got into right out of college, which was headhunting, which was recruiting. I got a call. That was kind of around the time when like Career Builder and Monster were just hitting the streets, and you'd put your resume up online, and then you just apply to jobs, and you'd hope somebody would call you. And even, that was 2007, right before 2008. It was not a good time to get employed. And so here you are, just this dumb 22-year-old kid, like, okay, somebody can call me and hire me. And it was a recruiter who called me to recruit me. to recruit other people for jobs. And like, I've never heard of this gig in my life, but it's paid training. Sounds great. Where do I sign up? Get my parents off the back. So yeah. And then 6 years later, poof, I'm like, I'm still doing this job and I freaking hate it. Like, it took me a long time to make these changes. It's not a sprint, but I'm enjoying the journey now and meeting people like you, because there's been a lot of gifts. Even during this crazy dark time, I'm still seeing a lot of miracles. So I'm glad to be awake for them now.
Me too. And I'm so glad that I met you. So glad. And I just want to tell people, family of addicts too, because they look down on the person like, oh, I've seen on Facebook people say, oh, they choose to be addicts. And it's like, like I had my first pain pill because for medical reasons, and then it felt great and it took my emotional shit away. I didn't wake up and say, hey, I want to be a drug addict because I want to lose all my money. I want to lose all my friends. I want to ruin my marriage. I want to do this. I want to, like, you just don't, it's not really something that somebody would choose. And I have never, ever seen a drug addict that is happy. Like, oh, I have this great fucking life. Hey, let me become a coke addict. Like, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And people cope in different ways. And some people choose that way and some people choose other ways. And I think that's important for people to know that.
Yeah, interesting. I'd love to meet that person someday and have some words with them, maybe in a quiet, dark room. Then I'm going to lock them in there after I exit because, clearly that's a person that's very closed-minded and they can't speak to the experience because they don't know. So, we have our day. We always know that we say black, someone's going to say white, vice versa. But all we know is we can share the experience that we have and our experience, our strength and our hope. And hope that it makes a difference. And I know that you and I do that through comedy. So cheers to that, sis.
Definitely. Yes. Cheers to that. And then I also have seen people complain about Narcan, which I think is actually a wonderful drug. Narcan actually saved my life, and not from me recreationally doing drugs. I had pancreatitis and they gave me so much Dilaudid that I stopped breathing. And my heart was slowing down to almost to a point where they had to shoot me with something to bring me back. And it was Narcan. So
wow. Now, would they give him a Thurman in Pulp Fiction?
I think, it must be, right?
I got the visual. God,
it must be. They put it right into my vein. I remember everything just turning white. And then I heard people screaming my name and yelling my name. And I opened my eyes and there's like 20 people in the room. And I was like, holy, what the hell just happened? And they're like, oh,
this is an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
I know. And the doctor had the balls to say to me, well, you kept asking for Dilaudid. You're the medical professionals. You should cut me off.
Dude, that's outrageous. See, I don't trust any of those bastards. That's like when I got my LASIK surgery and they just kept propping me full of Valiums. And like, you doing good? And they kept checking on me in that little room before they flipped the eyelid open. You need another? I'm like, well, since you're offering, I'm not the type of girl to say no, honey. So load me up, doc. Yeah, I still can't believe I did that till this day, that LASIK surgery. I don't know if I could do it again.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. I'll never forget. I woke up I think I did it a little bit too young, but I woke up in 2007 at my grandmother's house. I was in college, and I definitely don't think my eyes were matured enough, but I did it anyway, and I've never seen better. But just like anything, what do you got to get your tits redone every 10 years for those ladies where plastic is fantastic? Orange County. No, San Diego has its fair share too. But yeah, how crazy is that? We can drink out of a plastic straw, but you can load your whole human physique up with it, and that's okay. Yeah,
I know.
That will kill you. Going under the knife and putting a foreign object in your body. But yep, save the turtles.
Yeah, right. I remember my self-esteem is horrible, and I remember I used to want to get plastic surgery. I wanted a nose job, a jaw job, a boob job, even though my tits are ginormous. Like I wanted that fake look when I lay down that they don't come to the side.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh boy. Well,
but I have accepted myself now, and I'm good. Thank
You're beautiful, best way you are. Yeah, screw all that. I can't afford it. That's for one. The peasant in me. Sorry, not this Jewish girl. But yeah, I don't know if that's in the cards for me ever. I'm not going to say never, but as of right now, that's not where my dinero is going to be going, to some doctor in Tijuana, which I know a lot of people have been doing during COVID. It's like, oh, okay, there's a pandemic. Let's go to Mexico and go under the knife.
Yeah.
That sounds brilliant.
Well, the TV show Botched will have tons of new episodes.
Right? God, is that I know. I haven't seen that show before. Is it worth it? It's probably pretty
Some of it is, and most of them do go to Tijuana and Mexico, and they get filled with cement. They get filled with rubber, all kinds of crazy things, and they're all lopsided or disfigured, or they get infections. One lady had like a black hole in her boob. Like, yeah, it's bad.
All in the name of vanity, and it all starts right up here. I know.
It does. You truly have to just accept who you are and not fuck with nature. Like, I think you were created the way you were meant to be. I mean, I can see if maybe you're born with like deformities and stuff and you want to fix it, but just to be kind of vain and do that kind of stuff, I don't think it's worth it.
Well, it's rough because that ideal has been, especially to young girls, that's like the way you're meant to look. You have to look like a Kardashian. If you want to get a man, keep a man, be rich, do all these things, like you have to look like that. And this is again, like, I don't have kids right now and I don't know if that's going to happen, but yikes. Like, I didn't grow up in high school. Like, high school wasn't hard enough with social media and all of these things in my face all the time. You know, we had magazines, but it's like, holy crap. I mean, like, dude, I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for a childhood that I didn't have stuff like that in my face, because I worry about kids. All the time. It's insane. It's pure insanity.
We were definitely the show Botched. People are last time, I haven't seen it in months and months and months, but the last time I saw it, people now want to look like they look in filtered pictures. So they're getting work done so they look like they're filtered pictures, which I think is crazy. I mean, yeah, all those filters, and you can tell when people use them, and it's just like, I'm guilty of using them too sometimes, because if I light, I look fucking amazing, and it's like, yeah, why not? but to alter yourself to look like your filter, that's just crazy to me. And I know my male friends have said they've gone out on dates with girls, and when the girl shows up, they look completely different than the filtered pictures. So like,
we call that a kitty fish, catfish.
Yes,
a kitty fish.
The kitty fish.
Right?
I like that.
Kitty fish. Yeah. Oh God, the kitty's gonna get the fish because the jig is up, yo. That ain't you. Who are you here to meet? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that kind of happened to me once. I had a catfish situation, but it wasn't because it was generated through any sort of technical app, modern day app. I'm not on the apps at all. I don't do that stuff. It's not my thing. I still kind of think that, I'm going to meet the man of my dreams or whatever on a plane one day, if I ever get on a plane again, that is. So maybe that's not going to happen anymore, April. But I was in the hospital last October. I was around month 3, here I thought I was like the poster child for sobriety. I was doing all this healthy stuff for my life. And all of a sudden I end up in the hospital because I keeled over at work from so much stomach pain. Doctor comes in and I just thought maybe my IUD moved or something. Right. Nothing going up there to move it, I'll tell you that much. But I thought, okay, my mom's on the phone with me from Houston, like, you better get your ass to the ER. I can't do anything from here. And I just need to know that you're okay. So I go, all right. Turns out, doctor comes in, I have, after my first CAT scan, diverticulitis. I'm like, well, that sounds bad. What's that all about? And he's like, well, for starters, you're a little bit young to have it. I'm like, no, I'm super healthy right now. I haven't had a drink in 90 days. Like, there's no way I have. You've got the wrong girl. And yeah, sure enough, it was like this inflamed stomach situation. And I ended up, the silver lining of the whole story, though, because when I left to go to I said, okay, Mom, I'll go to the ER, but there better be a hot doctor on the other side of this. Well, it sort of manifested that in a situation, was a nurse. It wasn't a hot doc. He was a nurse. And in my haze, because they didn't give me any pain meds, right? Because I told him I was sober. I was like, do not jack me up, and I don't need a prescription. That was never my thing anyway. Guess what? They still gave me a prescription for Vicodin, even though I told them not to.
Ugh.
There you go. Those fucking bastards. So I ended up gifting those pills to some friends who I know are normies. So I was like, here you go on LJ. It's a pack of Vicodin for whenever you need it. But the doctor that all I remember is seeing his name tag and it said Joe on it. And I'm like, okay, Nurse Joe, I'm going to remember that. So I had to take matters in my own hands. I got home and I was still thinking about this guy because this is the cutest guy I'd seen in a really long time in San Diego. And I'm like, I met him and he knew about my inflamed colon, and it didn't even matter because he was still flirting with me, and I feel special. And it's like, now he already knows that I have a messed up stomach. We can already cross over that line.
Yep.
Cool. So, and we had like a really cute date. In the process, I found out how old he was, that he had just moved from North Carolina, that he used to be a nurse in Florida, that he'd been living in Cardiff for 3 weeks, and that his name was Joe. I was like, we like practically had a first date. Yeah. Like, he already knows I'm sober. Like, all this shit is like, we've cut to the chase.
Yeah.
So I write him a little love note, April, like a handwritten note. And I march back into Scripps in Encinitas, and I drop this note off. Bold as shit, man. No, like, whatever. No shade, no harm, no foul. I can't obviously get back there to him. The staff at the front desk is not going to let me get through to this guy. Right. Yeah. They've got to be the gatekeeper, the barrier. So I'm like, I don't have much information on him other than Nurse Joe. And can you like look up my record? I'm healthy now, but I was here a few days ago. I was really sick. I just want to thank some of your nurses for the amazing care they gave me. I have attracted at this point from talking to one guy at the front desk at the ER. So nurses have like flocked over here. The security guard has come over to tune into this conversation. I like, there's a herd of people all like, what is this crazy fucking bitch doing? And I'm like, I'm just dropping off a little love note. Yeah, so okay, here it is. Can you make sure he gets it? Fast forward to Halloween, a few weeks later, I get a text like that week. Hey, Lauren, it's Nurse Joe. Thanks for the note. We end up going on a date. I'm going to cut to the chase. And the wrong fucking guy shows up.
Oh, no.
Joe's a pretty common name, isn't it, April?
It sure is. It sure is.
Get out of the car. I put the dress on. I even think I got a blowout that day, like a professional one. I did the whole thing. Like, I haven't been on a date in so long. Here I am not dating, right? But I was like, this guy's too cute to pass up. Like, I don't see guys like this in San Diego. He's got a good job. He lives like, he's got a lot going on for him. And I'm getting a vibe even when I'm at my worst. And I was like, what do I do? Oh my God. Like, isn't this only supposed to happen on the internet? This was a live human being that I met. And this is not the guy. So I call him out on it, and he's like, but I got your note. And I'm like, well, they gave it to the wrong fucking Joe. Give it back. And this guy had the nerve to ask me, he's like, well, do you think, like, we can go out again sometime? I'm like, no, dude.
Whoa.
You're not the guy. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's my last experience in the dating world.
You know, Adam Sandler created a movie about you. Have you seen David Spade's The Wrong Missy?
I don't think I've watched that one yet. Is it on the Netflix?
It's on Netflix, and he meets these two girls named Missy, and he creates this whole elaborate trip to, I think it was to Hawaii or something, and he texts the wrong one, and she shows up, and he's like, oh, fuck.
That ain't her.
And it's the actress who plays Missy, the wrong Missy, is great. Like, him and her had like the same kind of Farley and Spade like chemistry type of thing going on. It is hilarious. Yeah. Highly recommend it.
Okay. I'll tune into that tonight after I finish binging this Dr. Foster, this BBC shit that is so addicting. It's like,
ooh, what's that?
It's a naughty, risque show about infidelity, and it's just like, it's like Wife Time on PHP. It's just really good, and it's the perfect thing for me right now. I have to say, in the last 3-4 months, I haven't been watching a lot of television because I've been working. Comedy's been intense, recovery, and it's just been rinse, repeat, all that. That by the time at the end of the day, I'm like, if I watch TV right now, I'm gonna overstimulate myself, and I won't go to sleep. Like, I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So like powering down all electronics. I've started that habit. Like, I literally turn my phone off around 9, between 9 and 10. The phone just goes off now. I don't need it on. And then it's kind of, it eases me into going to sleep. Like, it's a process. When you've done as drugs as you have in my life, like, going to bed was never my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
And now we got to make up for a lot of lost time.
Yes.
So, yeah, watching shows. I have done it a lot in the last couple of weeks though, because there's just been too much crazy in the world, and I have to get out of this.
Yes.
And it's been, like today's like today, when you're on the line with unemployment and you're getting news about someone close to you that has COVID, and yesterday, my girlfriend came down to visit with me, brought her newborn baby. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she ended up going into the hospital because she had to have surgery, like randomly, because she just had a baby. Just weird shit, man. Like 1 minute it's fine, and in an instant, it just shifts so aggressively. So I'm trying to keep it cool. I'm trying to keep this on straight, and it takes a lot.
I hear you. Well, you're doing a great job, and I try to keep my eye on straight too. And I think, most people, when it rains, it fucking pours. I think that's just like, that's how life is. And it's some days are just so fucking rough. But that's the day. Today. Yes. That's the days where you sit down and you write shit out and it feels better. Even if you're not writing jokes, people, like write in a journal or something. And it takes it away from your mind and it makes you feel more at peace, I think. And I'm so sorry to hear that all that has happened to you. It's horrible.
I'm going to persevere, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. That's comedy, recovery.
Yes.
And those are my safe zones. Those are where I thrive, and it allows me to be a better human so I can be a better human to others. That's basically the secret sauce for me. What kind of shows do you have coming up soon? What's going on in your world? I know that you probably talk about.
Yeah, I have a Dat Fan tomorrow. And friend. Yes. Actually, one of my friends is going to be in the audience, so that's really cool. Like, a lot of people have asked if they could be in the audience. I think of everybody, I'm like, well, this one has a dog or this one has a baby. Like, they think they're not going to be able to sit through it. But she does, and I think that's great. And Monday, I'm doing another one with Dat Fan. And August 8th, I'm doing an outdoor show here in New York, about an hour away from me. Yep, and it's a benefit show, actually, to support the Backpack Lunch Program, which I think is pretty cool. Because a lot of kids, now they're not in school, they don't get those free lunches and snacks and things like that. So I thought that was a great thing to get into. And I got the podcast. I'm recording like 2 to 3 a week. I'm trying to pump them out. Yeah, and editing and doing all that shit is like hours and hours and hours and hours.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'm finally got to a point where I can make it look professional. So I'm a little excited about that. Very excited about that. Where can we find you on social media for people to follow you?
Oh boy, it's like, God, I just signed up on Twitch yesterday because someone said that's a great place to market your content, even though I'm not a gamer, but who knows, maybe all of a sudden you'll talk to me in a month and like I'm getting paid to play video games. That could be my new job. I'm at Kosher Barbie Comedy. That would be on the gram. Also on the YouTube channel, which is being built right now that I've hired somebody younger than me to get that together. Interns are awesome. I was one once and I didn't make any money at a news station, so they're still out there for the experience, right? So I'm grateful for that. Misfit Toys. They just launched a podcast yesterday, so be on the lookout for that. Misfit Toys will be hitting the road next year. Right now we're doing everything virtually in an effort to be safe. I'll probably do a virtual show with the toys coming soon for the American Legion, just to keep the comedy life going there, because the vets are so worth it, and they relied on that every month from us. So I mean, projects are just coming as they every day. It's like, I don't know. That's why I know I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm now a part of this new group called KIW-TV. So I'm doing a lot of voiceover work all of a sudden for all this animation series, which I know is going to be, it's on Roku right now, but of course you can find it on YouTube. And then it's also going to be on Amazon Prime soon. I think we just submitted it all. So it's going to take a few days for it to, do what it needs to do in cyberspace to get on streaming. But there are fun little 90-second, short ditties and the animation is amazing. And it's fun. I get to do all these accents that I love to do and just do it in the privacy of my own home. So there's a lot of good happening. And like I said, I know this is going somewhere good. So if I just keep focused on that, then I'm okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, right? I watched your voiceover thing yesterday. I think it was yesterday. You posted it with the space the commercial that you did there.
Galactic towing, wasn't it cute?
Yes, it was cute. I'm like, oh my God, I know that voice. And it's weird when you see somebody or hear somebody like on TV or in commercials. It's like, it's a weird because you're like, wait, I know that person. But it was really cool. I think you did a great job. I think you did a really great job.
Thanks, Boo. I got another one coming out that I just gave my voice to. It was, I was a broadcast major in college, but I play a character named Anne Orexia, reporting live. And I'm interviewing a dog whose name is McGruff, and he's an Amazon warehouse worker, and he loses his job, and it's cute. Anyway, the writers are awesome. The animation is insane. I don't even know how you begin to do that. And yeah, the people that I'm working with, they're just really creative talents, and they're making the most of this time right now and doing great things. So yeah, I definitely want to give them a shout out because
Yeah, definitely.
it's so great to be connected with so many people who, you know, are in alignment with what you're doing, you know, like-minded people that are creative and aren't just sitting around on Facebook bitching and whining and whinging, being wambulances about, oh, this isn't fair, but like really like shutting the fuck up and taking this time to realize what can you do with this time? You know,
Yes.
how can you make yourself better? How can you help others? And there are ways, even if you're trapped at home, to do just that. So
yeah, definitely. I want to give a big shout out. I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Ivan Graphics, my friend Doc Ivan, for doing all the graphics for my show, and he makes all the promo pictures, and I think that's really great. He's awesome. And I want to mention that I have a merchandise store now on Etsy, which took like 4 or 5 days and lots of wanting to pull my hair out and all kinds of stuff. But I hooked up with this company called Printful, where they make them to order, so I don't have to spend money to make money. Really, they just take the percentage of what they make, and then I get a little cut on it too. And I also want to mention me called Sticker Mule in Amsterdam, New York. They made me bumper stickers, which I did have to pay for those. Yes, I did put them on Etsy. I made sure I contacted them, said, "Is this legal for me to resell them?" They instantly replied, yes, this is what we do, And Amsterdam is actually only probably like 40 minutes away from me, so it was cool knowing that it was a local company that was helping me out. And also Race Printing in Cobuskill. They are really, really great print shop, and they printed this for me. They do banners and all kinds of cool stuff. And I think those are all the people I want to plug.
That's amazing that you put all that together, though. Like, all that's just really becoming cohesive, and you know, you're just on it. You start something, all you can do is just try, and then you just keep going, and then it becomes exponential, and then it's materialized, and boom, you're like, wait, how did all this come together? And it just does.
And when I was drugged up, I had no motivation, but now that I have my son, I'm actually on Social Security disability for PTSD and my kidney failure that I have. So I have a very limited income. And oh yeah, I want to mention them too. Catholic Charities. I'm filming a commercial with them on Thursday for the food pantry program. Yes.
God bless.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because they have helped me out a lot. I make too much money for SNAP benefits, so I get nothing like that. And so the food pantry has been great. The local churches have been great. And yeah, I've just dealt with a lot of great people. And my son has lit that fire under my ass to keep going and going and going and going and going. Because I also don't receive child support, so it's like I'm really tightly wound. And yeah, that's what's going on.
I think you're attracting a lot of positive things in your life, and just keep going. And you know, that's just what's going to happen. That's the natural evolution of things.
Yes.
So you have people like me in your life, you know, who get it, like you. And I'm only a Zoom call away, right? Or, you know, you can always chat me anytime you want, because I'm 3 hours. You're in the future.
Yes, I'm in the future. I can tell you what's going to happen.
Yes, I'm going to rely on you, chica. So yeah, you've got a friend in me out west, even though I'm from down south, or whatever people call Texas these days. You know,
yes.
Depends on who you're talking to, but yeah, you got a sis in me, and I've really enjoyed spending this time with you today. It really was a light in my day.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. And likewise, anytime you need to talk, I'm here for you. What day is your actual sobriety date?
July 16th, next Thursday.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah. I will actually release this on the 15th, and we can celebrate it as
on tax day.
Your sobriety, yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. A little happiness for people on that morbid day, unless you extend like I do every year. So
actually, you know awesome. You know what? I have Chablis posted for the 15th. I will post it on your actual sobriety date. Let's do that.
You will?
Yes, let's do that. Yes, I will do that.
Carolyn.
I love you, and I support you, and I think you're wonderful, and I just want to keep supporting you.
Thank you, babe. Likewise. I'll see you on the mics. I'll see you on the screen. Squares. All right. Stay funny. Yes. Good luck with your shows this week.
Thank you.
Soon. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Bye, honey.
I love you.
Oh, it went black.